I took on a job where I was asked primarily to scrape the bed and saddle to eliminate the wear, which was in the most worn area about 300s, as expected in at the front portion where you have used the bed the most. This is a little bit into the scraping, let's say about 5 or 6 cycles, I think. I clamped down the bed with these Dubuque clamps. That is important, at least when hand scraping, to have a sturdy setup. And I used a homemade handle for the biax blade when scraping, at least this time around. So now I start the scraping with the hand scraper, area scraping, which means just trying to flatten the piece. I don't want to accidentally hit the scraper in the corner there, so when doing this, I start a little bit inwards and then just flip the scraper around or from the other side. Area scraping it doesn't matter how you scrape really, as long as you get the blue out and flattening the piece. In this case, I was a little bit chicken scratching. Nonetheless, I got the job done. So I just show it from the left to the right, and then I of course do from right to left or 90 degrees to that afterwards. And yes, there is a bit of an effort required. So now after you scrape, you will then stone the burrs off, because there will be a little bit burr, and wipe off and use the little bit time to evaluate. So it looks kind of good, I think, afterwards. If you mistake this for not being, let's say, a metal removing process, you can then see, based on the cast iron dust here, how much that is removed each pass. Now one can see the area that is in need of scraping, and as it progresses, how this area is filled in. Here I am after approximately 10 cycles, and the area is getting smaller. And this I'm pointing at here is just where it has touched up since the last cycle, being a more homogeneous blue area there. Because at the start it was a ground area. So that's where it touched up. That's where I have to scrape now. And even further, it closes in. Here it gets smaller, and the edge there, it shows where I have to scrape next time. And as you can see, some loss of coverage, but that is as expected. Also, not to worry, since I know how much I remove each pass. Okay, and I thought about this to show you, or not to show you, but I decided to do that, namely the whole process of bluing up at least one cycle. And one thing that is very important is to be very conscientious about the need to remove all grit, dirt, particles, whatever. And when you blue up, you always wipe off with your hands, and you just blue up enough so you can have for printing, but see through the blued up. But always wipe off with your hands. You can feel the tiniest amount of grit. And do the same on the piece that you're testing. And also be aware that sometimes things drop out from the castings like this. In case I could hear a little bit like not the right sound. So you hear like more of a clunk clunk. I call it a closed sound when everything is flat and even, but you can hear this scratched kind of, or like when you have a small dirt particle in between. So that's much better. And of course, you will always then have to hinge it. So now it hinges about 30% in from each side. So it's close to getting okay. And it's also, because of the coverage is quite okay, kind of stuck. It sucks in because of the fact that a lot of the surface has been covered. So the air escapes, and then you have vacuum sucking it down. Now you can see it's kind of okay. Still a little bit left, but kind of. So as you can see, there is still a small amount left there, and I also lost it a little bit on the inside there, but of minor concern really. That comes along great, I think. Now this has been completely printed, so we need only part it out a little bit. It's a little shyer over here now. That's no concern really. We just carry on with. We'll get in a little demonstration of the biax in action. You know, it's crazy. Well, what to say? Craziness about the scraped bed. This is at least what it looks like from my point of view. So here I have also applied some highlighter, yellow canode, used as a contrast color to the blue, and then you will get a more shiny appearance and also contrasting. I think it's starting to look good now, so okay, at least we leave the documentation there and head over to the next video.